Hey there. So picture this. It's the dead of winter, and you're standing on what seems like an endless, frozen plain. The wind is a physical force, a howl that drowns out everything but your own heartbeat. The temperature is so far below zero that the air itself feels like a threat. And beneath your feet, not rock, not earth, but over a mile of solid, ancient ice. You are utterly, profoundly alone. Or so you think. Because deep within that ice, just below where you're standing, is a secret city. A city built by the United States Army, powered by a nuclear reactor, housing hundreds of soldiers, with plans to contain over 600 ballistic missiles aimed at the Soviet Union. And the wildest part? It was never supposed to be found. Welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is Flashpoints, the wars that shaped us. Today, we're going deep, literally, into one of the Cold War's most astonishing secrets, Project Iceworm. Our story starts not with a bang, but with a polite request. In the late 1950s, the United States approached its ally, Denmark, with a proposition. They wanted to build a scientific research station on the ice sheet in Greenland, which was Danish territory. They called it Camp Century. The public pitch was brilliant, a showcase of American engineering and peaceful polar research, studying climate and ice core samples. Denmark, trusting its NATO ally, said yes. But Camp Century had a hidden, far more ambitious twin, Project Iceworm. You see, Camp Century was the proof of concept. The U.S. Army's top-secret Polar Research and Development Center wanted to know, could we build a hidden, mobile nuclear missile base inside the ice? A network of launch sites that could be shifted and extended under the glacier, invisible to Soviet satellites? Camp Century was the first step. They brought in a portable nuclear reactor, the PM-2A, to provide clean, heat-generating power. They used enormous Swiss-made Peter plows to carve out trenches, then covered them with arched steel roofs, burying the entire base under the snow. It was a technological marvel. There were prefabricated buildings forming streets, a hospital, a shop, a theater, a chapel, all connected by tunnels, all lit by electric lights, all warmed against the impossible cold outside. For the soldiers stationed there, it was a surreal, claustrophobic wonderland. They had movies, they had social clubs, they celebrated Christmas, all while living inside a glacier. And for a few years, it worked. The reactor hummed. The ice seemed stable. The Army drew up plans for Iceworm in earnest, a sprawling subterranean complex covering 52,000 square miles, with 2,500 miles of tunnels and launch silos for 600 intermediate-range missiles. From Greenland, they could strike deep into the Soviet heartland. It was the ultimate Cold War chess move, a hidden knight buried under ice. But the ice sheet, it turns out, is not a passive foundation. It's a living, shifting, flowing entity. And it had a vote. The engineers of the 1950s thought the ice was static, or at least moved slowly enough that their tunnels, reinforced with steel, would last for decades. They were wrong. The ice moved with a relentless, crushing pressure. Walls deformed, ceilings sagged. The constant heat from the reactor and the people themselves began to melt the very structure that housed them. Tunnels needed to be constantly re-excavated, a losing battle against the glacier's will. Within just a few years, it became clear the ice was winning. By 1965, the project was in serious trouble. The reactor was removed, and they switched to diesel generators. But the cost of maintenance was spiraling. In 1966, Camp Century was abandoned. The Army pulled out, taking the reactor core, but leaving behind the entire physical infrastructure, buildings, railways, sewage, toxic waste, and low-level radioactive coolant, to be entombed by the ice. They assumed the perpetual snowfall would bury it forever, compacting it into the glacier, a frozen time capsule of a failed dream. Project Iceworm was dead, and its cover story, Camp Century, died with it. The secret was buried. But here's where the story twists from a Cold War anecdote into something that speaks directly to us today. The ice sheet is not a permanent grave. We named this podcast Flashpoints, and often those points aren't just moments of ignition, but slow-burning fuses. The fuse on this one is climate change. You see, the engineers assumed perpetual snowfall. They assumed the ice sheet would remain in a state of accumulation. But what if it starts to melt? In 2016, a team of scientists published a study with a startling conclusion. Under moderate climate warming scenarios, the Greenland ice sheet around Camp Century could begin to melt by the end of this century. And if it melts, the abandoned waste, the biological, chemical, and radioactive legacy of this secret city would not stay locked away. It could be released into the local environment, eventually reaching the ocean. The study called this a remediation debt, a bill from one generation's secret war coming due for another. This is the part that always gets me, personally. As an engineer, I'm in awe of the sheer audacity of the build, the problem-solving, the innovation, the sheer will to carve a habitable space out of such inhuman conditions. It's a terrifyingly impressive feat, but as a storyteller, and as someone living in this century, I'm struck by the parable. They built a city on a foundation they didn't fully understand, for a war they hoped would never happen. They left the mess for the future, assuming the future would look like the past, static, frozen, perpetual. They failed to account for change. And isn't that a pattern? We make decisions based on the world as it is, or as we believe it to be, with a confidence that can border on arrogance. We bury our secrets, our waste, our problems, assuming the ground will stay solid forever. But the ground is rarely just ground. It's ice that flows. It's a climate that shifts. It's a political landscape that evolves. Denmark, it was revealed later, was never told about the missile project. The base violated Danish policies banning nuclear weapons on its soil. The trust between allies was fractured, hidden under the ice for decades. So what's left of Project Iceworm today? The city is still there, but it's not where they left it. The flowing ice has carried it deeper inland and crushed it. It's a ghost, distorted and compressed under countless tons of snow. But its story is more relevant than ever. It's a story about how the architectures of our conflicts, physical and political, can outlast the conflicts themselves. How a secret from the hottest years of the Cold War now rests in the hands of the warming climate of the 21st century. The flashpoint here wasn't a shot fired. It was a reactor powered on. It was the moment we decided we could engineer our way around nature for a tactical advantage. And the war it shaped isn't just the one between superpowers. It's the ongoing one between our short-term ambitions and the long-term, unpredictable resilience of our planet. Camp Century was a monument to human ingenuity. Project Iceworm was a monument to human fear. Together, they are a monument to a profound and enduring truth. Nothing stays buried forever. Not in ice, and not in history. Thanks for listening to this episode of Flashpoints. If these stories of hidden histories and their long shadows resonate with you, please share the show with a friend. It helps more people find us. This is Ibnul J. Farabi, and this has been Flashpoints, The Wars That Shaped Us, a production of Light Knot Studios. You can find more of our narrative documentaries at lightknotstudios.com. Until next time, take care.